Hello, good morning everyone. Stop shaking, camera. We are going to be doing a little reading and writing vlog today, hopefully mostly writing. I started writing a story. I got to about 50k words. Life kind of slammed the brakes on me where I just couldn't be creative. I didn't want to do anything and I was like, well, okay. And then I realized that I didn't feel confident that I had enough of the writing skills to write the story that I wanted to write. I started writing another story and I actually like it, but I found that one of the themes that I was working on had to do kind of with gender discrimination, and then I realized because I was trying to tell it through the lens of magic, it just started to sound like racial discrimination, and I was like, uh-oh, maybe that's not the story I should be telling. So I have shelved that, which is a bummer because I love the characters. So I just need to like really sit with that and think about how to make that like something I can write, you know? So then I ended up turning back to my original story that I thought that I wasn't ready to write, and I am completely changing it. The characters are still the same, but kind of their stories and their motivations, and even just, well, I'm not gonna tell you too much. I'm basically reworking the whole thing, and I really like the direction that it's going. So we're just gonna play around with it. Again, like I say this every time, but my goal right now isn't to be published. My goal is to finish a project. Like I think the art of finishing a book is something that is so far out of reach for me right now, like so wild that you can write and write and write and write, and then finally you feel like you're finished and like this is a thing that, you know, I don't know, like that's just a magical thing. Yeah, I'm really just doing this for fun, and I hope that it continues to be fun. We're gonna work outside today. One of my friends is going home for a couple months, so she invited me. Originally I was just gonna work all day, but she invited me to one last hurrah. So I'm gonna meet her, and then we're gonna hit a cafe and hopefully work. This video is sponsored. If you guys are like, what is that you're holding, Carrie? This video is sponsored by Brevity. They are a backpack company. They have like kind of normal everyday backpacks. They have camera backpacks. It holds a ton. It is machine washable. My backpack that I normally use, it's a huge backpack. My husband always calls me a turtle whenever I wear it because it just like swamps me. This is a totally normal size backpack. It looks normal on my back, but it carries the same, if not more. If you are interested in trying out a Brevity backpack, I've got a link in the description box, and you can use my code CARICAKES for 10% off. Hey, we're gonna take this guy out and write. No goals, just writing. Okay, actually today might be a research day because I was listening to a podcast and I learned about this thing, and it just like took me. Like I'm so excited to weave this into my story if I can. Anyway, I gotta go. Shoot, I gotta catch a bus. Let's go across town. All right, I gotta put you away. Gotta put my laptop away. Okay, bye.
Funnier than nothing, yeah, and misery is hungry.
I'm so full, but now we're gonna go to a different cafe and get work done.
Hours all your insides and leaves you lighter than the breeze, and misery is money, and money ties you down. But there's nowhere I'd rather be when it starts to smack me around. 'Cause I like it. I like it. Stop what you're doing to me. I like it. Misery loves company.
Greetings everyone, we're back at home. I actually successfully, I think, finished my first chapter. I have a lot of parts written. I have a lot of like short scenes written, but I think I successfully finished the first chapter to a point where I'm like happy with it and I can move on to the next chapter, which is wild. I actually decided not to connect to Wi-Fi while I was at that cafe, so I actually didn't do the research portion that I was hoping to do, or that I was planning to do. I'm gonna do a little bit of that now, but also I kind of want to go for a walk because it's really pretty outside. Yeah, what do I want to say? What have I learned from this writing process? I've noticed one of my problems. So as I have started trying to write, which has now been like a 2-year process. I have been reading differently, like especially when I'm reading the genre in which I am writing, which I think is like YA fantasy. I'm much more conscious of how authors create scenes and stuff like that. Normally I just read and like let the story just take me. But one thing that I noticed that I have a big issue with is I am so visual that I want to make sure that the reader has the exact same picture that I have. So I kind of over explain each movement. Like I'll find myself writing like, and then she picks up the mask, and then she puts on the mask, and then she like I say every little action, and that goes along with dialogue too. Like sometimes authors can tell you that a conversation happened without writing down every single word that happened. So like a big freaking breakthrough that I had was I didn't know quite how to get my character out of like an awkward end of a conversation. And I wrote, why do I feel so proud of this? I literally just wrote, I'm not gonna say her name, but like, she nodded and excused herself. Like I can just write that she excused herself without having to say exactly how she excused herself, you know? Like I didn't have to come up with a weird, I don't know. It seems so silly, but like for me, that was a big step. As I'm now over explaining my process of over explaining. Yeah, I'm having a good time. It's a little scary because like I said, I'm kind of completely reworking the plot. And it's kind of scary because when I was first writing this, I really had the whole plot figured out. And now I'm like, I know the direction I want it to go, but I don't actually have it fully figured out, and that kind of scares me. I know that there are, I forget the term names, but there are people who are plotters, and then I think they're called pantsers, the people who just write and like fly by the seat of their pants, you know, like don't have a plan. I'm trying to be somewhere in the middle. I'm having a good time. This is still, if you remember my previous writing vlog where I talked about the story about like, would you go through, if you were presented with a magical portal right now, would you actually go through it? Me as like a 30-year-old woman who like, I've got stuff to do, like I've got a job and all this stuff, like would I just drop it and like follow the white rabbit down into Wonderland, you know? It's that story, but it's been very much reworked. Still kind of has that element to it. I'm gonna charge, how about this? I'm gonna charge my phone and my AirPods. And once those are all charged, I'm gonna go for my walk. But until then, I'm gonna research. So, okay, I'm gonna go dive in. Bye. Okay, hi everyone. It is a few days later. I actually had a really wonderful breakthrough yesterday and kind of like a couple days prior to that. I, as you know, have been reading a ton of YA fantasy as usual, but I recently picked up the Chronology of Water by Lydia Yuknovich. It is a memoir, and this is honestly the kind of writing, not when I was in high school, but like probably in college, it was a little bit more, I don't want to say like experimental, but it didn't really have, like, you know how fantasies have a very specific kind of flow, there's a structure. This writing is much more kind of poetic and obscure, and you aren't really sure, like it's just so not literal. And I think that I felt like I needed to be very literal when I'm writing a story so that you understand kind of how things are going. And I kind of lost my very weird way of writing, which you might be able to see. I'll link my old writing Instagram that has so many spelling mistakes and stuff, but it was just like I had words and I put them out there. I kind of started writing a couple scenes just using that kind of naturally bumpy, weird language that I used to use. I actually really liked it. It's weird now because I don't know how I'm gonna fit that in. Like, I'm not gonna start over, but I think it's something that I can kind of edit together. I said this in another video that so much of writing and getting ideas is going out into the world and experiencing other things. Like, that's what's gonna give you inspiration. That's what's going to, you know, wiggle a piece loose up here. I felt like because I was kind of reading the same kind of things, obviously all fantasy writers have different voices, but there's, like, as I said, this kind of structure. Reading something that is totally not the same genre of what I wanted to do, of what I want to do, ended up giving me so many ideas, like just so many ideas. I underlined the hell out of this book. This is definitely an adult memoir. This talks a lot about abuse and addiction and just like alcohol, drugs, sex. Very graphic, very beautiful writing. So definitely if you're just like a lover of YA fantasy, don't just like dive into this. But if you're interested in like more kind of like literary fiction or memoirs and things like that, give it, it was pretty good. I'll talk more about it in my monthly wrap up. Yeah, I would say that's like another thing that I kind of relearned this week. Not only like get out of your room, walk away from your desk to get inspiration, but also if you find inspiration from reading, read other genres. So yeah, I actually wrote a scene that I'm like really proud of, and I think it's really different. I think that the stuff that I've written so far has felt very like it exists already, you know, not intentionally, but just like I'm gonna write a fantasy novel and there are certain things you need to do. Yeah, I'm just proud that even if that's just a thing that ends up getting tossed out, I'm happy that I wrote it, and I think that I can, I don't know. Once again, like, this is just a really fun exercise for me. I feel like I'm walking around inside my own brain and like exploring all these new little corners. So again, I know that this video is mostly just me talking at you, but I hope that if you don't necessarily want to be like published or whatever, still just try writing. It's such an interesting hobby, and you don't need to get published. You can just write to write. You know, people keep diaries of their lives that they never share with anyone. Who's to say you can't keep a completely fictional story that you've written and never tell anyone, you know? So yeah, I just once again highly encourage you to just like start typing and see what comes out, you know? So anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys here. Big shout out to Brevity. I was using them yesterday when I went across town to read this book. You can use the code CARICAKES to get 10% off of your order. This is in pine green and I really like it. I ended up writing over 1,000 words for sure. I'm just really proud that I finished a chapter. I don't know, I'm trying not to think about like word writing goals and stuff like that. I'm just having fun, but yeah, this was a good exercise, and this video kind of forced me to get out there and write. So thank you guys. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. I have been actually having a good reading month as opposed to February, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. And I'm working on a video about contemporary Korean authors. And I will see you guys later. I look stressed because I just finished filing my taxes. Yeah, I'm gonna go de-stress, run around, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.